Ah, there he is. Welcome aboard. Care for a glass of Goût de Diamant?
The DCU has a bunch of heroes and villains lined up for upcoming movies, games, and shows, but one of the most unexpected projects in the pipeline is a Bane and Deathstroke team-up movie. Now that the DCEU is finally retired, Warner Brothers is gearing up to launch the new DCU with James Gunn and Peter Safran steering the ship. The list of confirmed projects isn't super long yet, but we know Superman is set to kick things off on the big screen soon. After that, we're getting Supergirl and Clayface in 2026, plus a few other shows and projects, some tied to the main DCU and others part of the Elseworld side stories. Looking ahead, the DCU is expected to bring in a bunch of major Justice League characters, but it's not just about the heroes. Several villains are also getting their moment to shine. Recently, James Gunn teased that Deathstroke will show up in the DCU, and now there's more solid info that he might actually get his own project. And he won't be alone. He's teaming up with another classic Batman villain, Bane. On September 27th, The Hollywood Reporter revealed that the DCU is working on a Bane and Deathstroke movie. Details are still limited, but insiders confirmed the film is in early development. How or why these two villains would even team up hasn't been explored in other stories, so it's definitely a fresh and interesting angle for the DCU to dive into some darker characters. What makes this even more fun is that Deadpool was actually inspired by Deathstroke, and with Deadpool and Wolverine doing so well lately, it kinda makes sense that the DCU might want to roll out its own gritty anti-hero team-up. That said, James Gunn's made it clear no DCU project moves forward without an approved script. So right now, things are just getting started, and the story still being put together. If it doesn't shape up the right way, the whole thing could get shelved. The good news? A writer's already been brought on to start working on it. Matthew Orton, one of the writers behind Captain America: Brave New World, is officially working on the script. Orton's no stranger to big franchises. Besides Brave New World, he also wrote an episode of Moon Knight and developed Devil's Peak. His work tends to lean into political themes, which could add an interesting edge to a story centered around two of DC's most dangerous villains. Now, as for where this movie fits in the bigger DC picture, that's still a mystery. It could end up in James Gunn's DCU, Matt Reeves' The Batman universe, or maybe even as an Elseworlds project like Joker. That said, the vibe feels more DCU than anything else, especially with all the buzz around the idea that this could secretly be setting up a Secret Six story. Plot-wise, there's no solid info yet, but the possibilities are wide open. Bane and Deathstroke could start off at odds and end up working together, or maybe they're thrown into a shaky alliance chasing a shared goal. If Gunn leans into the darker but fun tone of the Suicide Squad, we could get something surprisingly entertaining out of this. Oh, and don't forget, James Gunn recently dropped a cheeky wink emoji when a fan asked about Deathstroke's future, which got everyone talking. Now, with this movie news, it seems like that wink was a hint. It's likely the character will get recast for the DCU, and there are definitely some great actors who could pull it off. First up on the list is Timothy Olyphant. Olyphant has the perfect look for Deathstroke, plus the acting chops and energy needed to bring such a key character to life in the DC universe. His roles in Justified and as Cobb Vanth in The Mandalorian prove he's got what it takes to play a character like Deathstroke. Olyphant could nail that tough, no-nonsense vibe, which is exactly what Slade Wilson's all about. He's never shy about getting his hands dirty, and Olyphant would bring that confident, intimidating side of the character to life perfectly. Next up is Stephen Lang. While many of the actors on this list share a resemblance to Slade Wilson, Stephen Lang might be the closest to bringing the character straight from the comics to the screen. He's been a top fan pick for Deathstroke for over a decade, even staying a favorite choice when Joe Manganiello was initially cast. Lang has proven his action hero skills in countless roles, showing he's more than capable of handling the intensity that comes with a character like Deathstroke. At 70, he's older than most other options, but his tough, no-nonsense personality would make him a perfect fit for Slade Wilson. Moving on, we have Pedro Pascal. Pedro Pascal has already made his mark in the DCEU, playing Maxwell Lord in Wonder Woman 1984. Unfortunately, that film didn't hit the mark for DC, but given how in-demand Pascal is right now, it's likely he'll land another major role in either the Marvel or DC universes soon. His work in The Mandalorian and as Joel in The Last of Us has proven he can handle both action and depth, making him a great fit for the layered character of Deathstroke. Plus, since Deathstroke's face is often hidden, it would be easy to separate Pascal's new DC role from his past one. Before Pedro Pascal landed the role of Joel Miller in The Last of Us, Nikolai Coster-Waldau was one of the top fan picks, and that speaks volumes about his potential to play Deathstroke in the DC universe. Coster-Waldau is best known for his role as Jaime Lannister in Game of Thrones, where he delivered one of the most impressive character arcs of the series. His acting skills really shone through as Jaime evolved into one of the most complex characters in modern TV. On top of that, Coster-Waldau has shown his sword-fighting skills, which would definitely come in handy for portraying a skilled fighter like Deathstroke. Next up is Jeffrey Dean Morgan. Jeffrey Dean Morgan would be a solid pick for Deathstroke in the DC universe. He's already dipped into the DC world, playing the comedian in Watchmen and Thomas Wayne in the DCEU, though his role as Thomas Wayne was pretty brief. But it's his portrayal of Negan in The Walking Dead that really shows why he'd be perfect for Deathstroke. Like Deathstroke, Negan has a strict code, but his morals are pretty messed up. Morgan really shines in anti-hero roles, and he'd bring that same magnetic energy to Deathstroke, making him a standout character in the DC universe. Next, we have Andrew Lincoln. Andrew Lincoln is one of the most underrated actors out there. Known for his role as Rick Grimes in The Walking Dead, Lincoln's performance became iconic, making him one of TV's standout stars during the show's peak. By the end of the series, fans had seen just how raw and intense Lincoln could get. Rick Grimes is a complex character, and Lincoln's ability to tap into the more intimidating, authoritarian side of him shows he could bring the same intensity to Deathstroke. The Walking Dead, especially its first few seasons, proves Lincoln would be great in a villain or anti-hero role like Deathstroke. And last but definitely not least is Bradley Cooper. Bradley Cooper is another strong contender for the role of Deathstroke. He's no stranger to superhero films, having voiced Rocket Raccoon in the MCU for years. With James Gunn now heading the DCU, it's interesting to note that he's hinted at bringing some of the Guardians of the Galaxy cast into the DC fold. There's even a rumor that Cooper might be up for Lex Luthor in Superman Legacy. If that doesn't work out, Cooper could be a great fit for Deathstroke. As a 3-time Best Actor Oscar nominee, Cooper would bring a serious weight to the role, making Deathstroke a standout character in the DC Universe's future films. Well, that's a wrap on today's look at some of the top contenders for the role of Deathstroke in the DCU. Who do you think would make the best Slade Wilson? Timothy Olyphant? Stephen Lang, or maybe someone else entirely? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on more updates about the DCU and all the exciting projects coming your way. See you next time.